11, and we will be talking about Chapter 8, What is Outsourcing? My name is Jonathan Oldenburg.
I'm Kristen Wilhelm.
And I'm Garrett Jensen.
Outsourcing by definition is to purchase or subcontract services from an outside supplier or source. Although it might appear to be a simple decision whether to outsource or not, in reality quite a lot goes into it. The root of the decision sits with how best to utilize the resources that are available. Often the decision to outsource is called a make or buy decision. Managers have to investigate whether the incremental costs of making the product are less than or greater than the cost of outsourcing. That way, they can accurately decide to produce in-house or to buy the product or service. Today, outsourcing is something that is commonly known around the world as a simple and easy way to cut costs. But what started this phenomenon is more complex than a simple idea. It began as a quick decision that has led to economic crisis, job loss, and a stagnant America. It all started around 1980 when the U.S. was in a period of slow economic growth. Despite the government interference, companies such as GM were forced to cut costs drastically by shutting down factories and moving out of the country. This led to the idea of outsourcing, which further led to the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, and the World Trade Organization developing further and encouraging outsourcing, starting with manufacturing companies and then progressing even towards service companies. Now, after factories are shutting down and companies are moving their entire operation overseas, American jobs are truly suffering. Over the past 20 years, over 3.7 million American jobs have been lost to outsourcing in other countries. Although the benefits have been great for American companies in the short term, in the long term, it's only hurting us more and more as a country. The longer this continues, the more economic depression we will see in this country.
The U.S. outsources many different things around the world, but the country that receives the most outsourcing from the U.S. is India by a long shot. A study interviewing 300 senior executives from Fortune 1000 shows 60% of top U.S. companies outsource services to India. China has the second largest share of the U.S. companies with 27% outsourcing work to them. Latin America follows with 25%, with the Philippines at 14% and Canada finishing out the top 5 at 11%. That's the study conducted in the winter of 2007 on 3,016 individual firms shows just where outsourcing has taken the greatest effect. The study showed that 13.1% of all companies outsource work to an offshore third party, and 7% of companies offshore to a foreign affiliate. 15.2% of all the companies surveyed had work done offshore for their company. The study also provided stats on which industries were most likely to outsource to their foreign countries. The industry that was most likely to outsource to foreign countries is technology services. 42.1% of companies had work done offshore, with 35.7% outsourced offshore to third parties, and 29.4% doing work with foreign affiliates. Next on the list was telecommunications industry. In the telecommunications industry, they actually outsourced more to a third party with 37.2% compared to 35.7% in technology services. But in total amount of work done, offshore telecommunications had slightly fewer companies doing work offshore with 41.9%, due to only 16.3% of companies having foreign affiliates. The next four industries on the list were insurance at number 3 with 32.3% of companies doing work offshore, manufacturing with 31.1%, engineering with 28.1%, and banking and finance at number 6 with 24.4% of companies having work done in foreign countries. The study also went on to ask companies who outsource what jobs they do outsource. The top position to be outsourced is actually a tie between both computer programming and software engineers, with 31.4% of companies outsource that position. The The next most outsourced position is customer service, with 24.9% of companies outsourcing the position. Although IT services are by far the most popular service to outsource offshore, some accounting services are outsourced by companies also. Many accounting companies outsource some tax return services to lower the burden on their staffs. Top accounting outsourcing companies in India claim that with their accounting services, you can save a company anywhere from 40 to 60% on completing tax returns. In the latest study I could find from 2005, the top 4 accounting outsourcing companies in India combined to complete about 100,000 tax returns in 2004.
Costa Mesa is a city located in Orange County, California, and has a population of about 118,000. Costa Mesa is currently facing a $1.7 million deficit on their projected $93 million budget next year. This is causing Costa Mesa to lay off 200 of its 450 public employees so that these jobs can be outsourced. The jobs being laid off include firefighters, graffiti removers, and maintenance workers, just to name a few.
Since we are doing our presentation on a city and not an actual company, there are not many revenues that will be affected by the outsourcing decision. A city is just trying to break even. They are not really trying to make a profit. The outsourcing decision Costa Mesa made was to get rid of a deficit. The biggest cost that the outsourcing decision is expected to affect is pension costs. Costa Mesa has to pay $15 million in unfunded pensions per year, and that number is expected to increase to $25 million in 5 years. Costa Mesa has a total budget of $93 million, which makes pension costs 16% of their total budget, and in 5 years, that cost will go to 25%. The high cost of pensions for Costa Mesa was caused by the stock market collapse. Before the collapse of the stock market, Costa Mesa did not have to put any money into unfunded pensions because of the gains they experienced in the markets. Since the stock market crashed, Costa Mesa has now accumulated $130.8 million in unfunded pension liabilities. Costa Mesa expects their outsourcing decision to slowly get rid of their pension costs. They believe that by contracting out city work, they can pay a fixed cost that they know will not change. If they can get a contract that will cost less than what they would spend right now for their own workers, they will take the contract with the outside company. If the company quotes a price above or at their previous expenses, or what they were, then they will hire back the workers who they sent pink slips to.
The main qualitative factor that could impact Costa Mesa's decision not to outsource is its impact that it will have on the local community. Laying off 200 public employees is going to create bad morale throughout all of the current city workers, along with a general dislike for the current local government. These layoffs are going to affect each and every city worker and can be seen by the death of Mr. Pham. He was a city worker who, when found out about being laid off, climbed to the top of City Hall and took his life. Once again, we are Group 11, and this has been Chapter 8, Outsourcing, on page 472, 8-1. And thank you for stopping by.
Oops, sorry.
The outsourcing decision Costa Mesa, whoa, I just read the same sentence. you can save, wait,